I've seen that over and over and over again, where they are not only on one side, but it's kind of like going, it's like I said with the schooling, but it's also like, of sorts, they've showed me it looks like going to a theater play where, somebody plays the lead, somebody plays the co-star, and, the part you play in that to teach each other those experiences. Now,
and I think it all revolves around experiences, what you're talking about, which can double as emotion because experience equals emotion. I think spirit, out of almost all of the energy that it has, is more emotion than anything else, and then intellect. That's just my personal belief. But truly, to go through an event, or what did you call an experience,
right.
of, let's say, a murder, to truly understand it, you have to be on both sides. You have to be murdered, and you have to be the murderer.
Well, that's what I've seen.
And truly, to experience what that is, and to walk away from that, I don't know how much more you can be informed about that experience.
Well, it's kind of like, we talk about some people where, oh, geez, they just never learn, and they have to do it the hard way. Well, that's kind of what I've seen in lives. They literally do that both ways. The murdered and the murderer. So I'm only going by what I see, that yes, people have played, along with myself, both roles of a certain theme. And I feel it helps us to enhance us to, and it does tie in with the emotion, to find that compassion, to find that balance, to empathize with that individual. I've seen souls that are very young and come here, and the lack of empathy they have for others, with just some, not all. No, I'm not trying to say that that's true for everyone, just for some that I've experienced. Their empathy is very sparse, I guess would be a good word. And I also know that they're a newer soul, and they just cannot seem to reach out to others easily at all.
Yeah, maybe those are people who have not gone through the experience of an an experience that would, the derivative of that would be a lot of empathy one way on one side or the other, because they don't know what it is yet.
Right.
And it's interesting because how can we pray and things for people like that who are just downright emotionless and mean and cold, and we were told to pray for them? And it makes sense now because they're on the same journey we are, and they're going to be going through that experience. There are things that I lack and you lack that probably we will go to. Now, can spirit, because we're running out of time, can spirit also want to choose to come back as the opposite sex, or as a dog, or as some other living entity?
No, I've seen individuals come back as certain sexes, absolutely. Both, even the androgynous, as I've talked about. But I, personally, I've heard it, but I have not experienced it with the individual, and I've done hundreds, but I have not experienced them as well, no, I take that back. Just one, actually, with it was a creature. It was, I don't even know what the creature was. Truthfully, it was an alien of some type, but it was truly not a human, form. So, but as for a regular animal, I haven't seen that. The only I've seen them, I know they have a soul because I've seen them in another dimension, as I do people that are past, that are deceased. But I have not seen it interchange. In other words, Uncle Joe being a dog.
Yeah, it seems like too hard of a jump. And what would be the lesson anyway? The different. Yeah. Now a dog. Yeah, a dog may take the place of another dog or another animal of the capacity of its cranial capacity, but that would be for learning experience. But yeah, we got to equivocate to something that something is kind of like us, like that blue and white being.
Well, I think it has to do with, like you were saying earlier, about the emotions. I've met some animals that are very intelligent, but I think it more ties, now that you say that, to emotions. It's like they, don't need it, don't want it, don't need to go there. I'm not quite sure, but, what we experience, I guess, is what I'm trying to say.
They may be on their own journey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like they're companions to us, but not necessarily intertwined with us.
Right, right. Because again, what truly would be the message to learn as being a dog? I don't see anything. But being a Roman soldier, I may not know the value of that right now, but it truly either was picked by me or picked by someone else. Do we normally pick where we're going to go?
Yes. That's the way I see it. That's the way I've been shown, is they truly, my guides have showed me before we come here, that they showed me in a very simplistic way. They hand us a clipboard and say, what would you like to experience? Would you like to be a mom, a dad? Would you like to have children? Would you like to be, as you said, a Roman soldier? Would you like to go here? And you pick the, experiences, and then the general theme. And that's what they've actually showed me. Like I said, it's wonderful the way they show it to me.
The Ghost Inside My Child, which is on TV now on the LMN network, shows these kids who have come back and do have a little bit of a memory of their past life. And some of it was just recent. And it eventually goes away. But
sometimes.
Yeah.
Granddaughters, and I have a daughter that, knew who they were.
Yeah.
I have a granddaughter that's she speaks to the animals all the time.
Yeah, and they validated these kids by going to the places, and people knew this person that they're talking about, who he was before he died. Anyway, long story short, one of the kids said that he also picked out the mother he was going to be with to experience what his clipboard said. And he zoomed vertically down right through, he said, I went right through your head into the fetus.
Mm-hmm. I truly believe that. I really do. This is what I need. This is what I want. This is where I'm going to be. And, and that, my daughter, you are right with my daughter. She did forget, but she used to tell us all about how she was a boy and she was 11 and fell off a cliff, and her other mom and dad, were hurt, but, and all the details therein. So, I so much believe that. And then she said, but now I'm with you and Dad, and I love it, and this is where I want to be.
And that leads to, all these parents that think that so utterly important to do things for your kids, which it's nice, but to always remember that God, actually, they're God's children, and that we are just simple custodians for a period of time.
Absolutely. We're just part of that picture.
Right, because they truly grow up to be their own entities and doing their things, and they're going to have the experiences too. The neat thing is I don't remember the past, and you're right, because if we remembered every past life, there's no way we couldn't put it all together. We have problems enough with just our own life. And then carry on 22 different lives to come in and try to figure out the message. It's going to be impossible. You're going to have a brain fart. But in the long run of things, That's why maybe we don't. But the spirit that resides within knows, I think, somehow is able to filter out and keep what was needed as it grows.
Yeah,
I'm
what
big.
I heard. That's what I felt.
Yeah, yeah. The spirit in itself, can that be caught on sometimes IR lights and investigations as a true orb? Because believe me, I'm a big believer that most people mess up and don't find orbs 99.9% of the time. But when you've got one pulsating on a stage and it's blue, and it changes directions like a right angle, and some people have it pulsating, they zoom in, and it seems to have a cortex, and it seems to have some structure to it. Could that be the spirit of a person? Okay.
Yes, I heard the word essence.
Essence. Yeah.
And it's that individual trying to, it's like us as humans. We just want to be noticed or, acknowledged. See what I mean? They are trying to help us put it together, but just in a thin veil past that. And then
Yeah.
do what they can.
Yeah, it's interesting because I like to take pictures when I let my dog out in the morning, maybe 6 or 7, and I posted the other day, I'll be damned. I just let him out, and then I take a picture of the sunrise almost coming up, and there, going by me, is a vortex shooting by. Yeah, I would catch these from time to time. And they have an opening on one end and a smaller one on the other. But it's shooting by. I could never see it with my bare naked eye, but it's there plain as day. And you take pictures, and you'd be surprised at some of the things that come out. They're just, everything's around us.
It is. And now here's something that, just a little food for thought. Now, as I talked to you last night, I have that very logical brain because I'm a paralegal living in an intuitive spiritual body. And I've battled this until I finally made peace with it. And now here I am. But just think about the fact that the camera doesn't have the emotion, so it can see it. The person has the logical mind that's saying, no way, it can't be possible. So sometimes they cannot see it. Do you see what I'm saying? That's what my guide described it to me as.
Yeah. Are you saying that logically we just don't say it is? We wipe it out?
Right.
Oh, I don't do that. I used to do it, but I don't now.
Well, at times you do. Your brain goes, well, yeah, but maybe, well, could be, shoulda, woulda.
Well, when you become more trained in the paranormal of what to look for and what things are and what things aren't, yeah, but I can usually delineate, no, those aren't, and absolutely not entities, and then also pick out the entities. And it's you do that over time, and you get familiar with it. Same thing with EVPs when you hear spirit talking.
But if maybe you weren't quite awake, or if maybe you weren't quite paying attention in your intuitive mind versus your logical brain. That's what they described to me. Now, I'm not saying that's what happens with you. I'm just giving my experience, what happens to me once in a while, because I can be standing beside, someone that is also intuitive. They'll see it and I won't.
Right. Oh, yeah. We've had EVPs come in on one recorder, and someone a foot away, it never got on their recorder. How does that happen?
Well, or the same way with seeing things.
Right. Oh, yeah.
And that's just because of the frame of mind you're in, or maybe, who's supposed to see what or get what.
That's exactly what it is. Yeah, I think spirit has the ability to. So I'm going to appear, but only to appear out of these